Built as a long-range fire support frame for the Smith-Shimano Corporation, the Swallowtail has everything you need for long-range reconnaissance. Between a powerful operating system, an integrated cloak, and high customizability, this mech has everything you need to support your team on any harrowing mission. But why should any of that matter when you too can predict the future? When you too can... Okay, seriously? Squidward, come on, buddy. Stop. Hey. But why should any of that matter when you can predict the future? It's like being blessed with precognition from digital Athena herself. So without further introduction, the Swallowtail takes center stage in today's Mech Tech. For players who wish to become invisible, prevent damage, and be a long-range support with nearly unmatched sensor range, this is your kind of mech. This mech has been so widely used for its talents that it has even reached the planet Hercynian, where they have made their own model, the Swallowtail Ranger variant. And while the Swallowtail is one of SSC's few mass-produced lines, it's certainly no slouch when it comes to unique and powerful abilities. The Swallowtail's ability to generate and predict outcomes in the future all comes from its nearly unmatched processing power. By using its Cloud Scout Tag Sim Swarm, the Swallowtail launches a net of small microsensors across the battlefield. These sensors, in turn, initiates a complicated program that watches, analyzes, and generates information based on the ongoing fight, granting the pilot near precognition levels of abilities, and allowing them to predict the possible moves of their enemies, and protect their allies by moving those allies away from danger. And speaking of moving, remember to move your mouse to that like button, and maybe subscribe if you want to. It really helps the channel. But onward to giant robots, that's what you came here for. As a protocol, you may activate Prophetic interjection, granting you this new reaction. This reaction states that once per round, when you see an ally in line of sight that takes damage from another character in line of sight, you roll a 6-sided dice. On a 4+, your ally only takes half damage from the source, and can then teleport up to 3 spaces away in any direction, representing their real location. On a 3 or less, there's a glitch in the system. Although you don't protect them from the damage, you can still teleport your ally anywhere within 6 spaces, a massive amount of free movement. This reaction does one of many things. First, teleporting for free and reducing damage is absolutely crazy as hell to have at a table. The emphasis of avoiding the damage and moving players away from new possible sources of damage is a massive boon for any group. In addition, thinking about the offensive side of things, it's like being hit and teleporting closer to a target so they can no longer escape, allowing melee builds to really get in close with people who don't want to skirmish in melee combat. Not to mention, this doesn't actually say anything about an enemy hitting your ally. Instead, it only states that they get hit by another character within line of sight. That means if you're really committed to getting somebody within melee range, you basically just have a free teleport. All you do is have a third party hit your ally, and you can then teleport that ally between 3 and 6 spaces depending on what you roll for your dice, which is absolutely bonkers to think about. This, paired with many other powerful teamwork abilities, allows the Swallowtail to control movement on the battlefield far more carefully than other support mechs. Speaking of teamwork, with the Prophetic Scanners trait, the Swallowtail gains the ability to shred a target when it inflicts a lock-on condition. A reminder, shredded characters do not benefit from armor or resistance, which means that any defensive buff a target is using is all but worthless within your sight. And with a massive 20 range on sensors, any target on the battlefield needs to hide fast and effectively from you. And now that enemies know just how valuable you are in a fight, you might be worried about the lack of HP and armor that you have. And to that, I might direct your attention to the integrated cloak feature. At the end of each of its turns, the Swallowtail becomes invisible if it hasn't moved that turn. This lasts until it moves or takes a reaction, or until the start of its next turn, making it the perfect mech to scout and control the information on the battlefield from a safe distance. It's able to hide, run, and protect its allies from great range. This mech just about has it all. Just about. With the lack of a main mount option, the Swallowtail can only really bring in a few medium and small arms into battle, meaning that if you're caught in the fray, you can't really overpower anybody. In addition, its lack of armor and heat capacity make it a bit frail when danger comes a-knockin'. But don't worry, not all is lost. Its customizability is simply another one of its strong suits, as the Swallowtail boasts a starting system point total of 6. With options on your side of the ring like Lotus Projector, an invisible drone that does a little too much for its size and cost. Allowing the pilot to, as a swift action no less, deploy this nasty little recon drone, giving you the following information in a Burst 2 area. You know the current location, HP, evasion, E-defense, and heat of all characters within the affected area. Hostile creatures can no longer hide, they can no longer benefit from the hidden condition, they can no longer benefit from being invisible, and you can recall and redeploy your scout as a quick action. This powerful scouting ability is only amplified by other wonderful and quirky mech systems that you can choose from, like Marker Light, the worst laser pointer in the eye move that I've seen in a hot minute. Marker Light states that you perform a tech attack against a target within sensors, a 20 range snipe. And on a success, the target gains 2 heat, is locked on, which means that they're also shredded from your Prophetic Scanners trait, which we covered earlier. They cannot benefit from soft cover, and all of that stays on them until they clear the lock-on condition. But if being blinded by the world's most annoying laser isn't enough, the pilot can then wait and watch, and if any ally successfully hits their locked-on target, they can convert that to a critical by saying, "Nah, that's actually a crit," as long as the roll wasn't already a critical hit, by calling out a weak spot. Meaning that for the low price of 2 tech points, you too can annoy your local game master and make your game that much more hilarious for the other players, and yourself. And with time and effort, you can snag one of its powerful license rank 3 mech systems, like the oh-so-hilarious LB/OC Cloaking Field, making you become slowed, but you, your mech, and all allied characters within Burst 2 area become invisible as long as you remain completely inside the area. This effect lasts until the end of your next turn, or until you're stunned, take damage, or deactivated as a quick action. I cannot stress how powerful mass invisibility is on a dime drop, allowing you, and some, if not all of your teammates, to completely avoid devastating barrages and sniper attacks from targets while still being able to fire and protect yourselves. The Swallowtail really has a great answer for so many problems at the table. And because of that, the Swallowtail just has so much in its corner for so little upkeep, and I highly recommend trying it out the next time you can. With things like invisibility, long-range sensors, crazy support options, and a penchant for making your game master despise you from afar, I'm sure you're gonna have a blast trying this one out.